that and this. I wanted to address the issue of Leave No Trace and introduction to festivals and kind of a welcome tip and trick about festivals in general. I went to Lightning in a Bottle last weekend, and it was amazing! But something about it was very interesting and at times challenging. And I think one of the reasons for that is that it was thrown by the Do Lab, which is an impressive organization that really has done some amazing things in bringing art and culture and all sorts of things to a larger audience. One of the challenges of that process of bringing things to a larger audience is that there is a learning period going from traditional culture to the expectations of this more communal community experience. And so there was people parked next to us at LIB. They were called the Moop Squad. The Beckys had a group called the Moop Squad with all these different guns to help pick things up off the ground. And over people would walk by and go, what's Moop? What's Moop? What's Moop? And I was like, oh, wow. There's a lot of people here that are not familiar with the Burning Man culture or Burning Man, clearly, because you learn very early on, Moop is matter out of place. And part of Leave No Trace, which is one of the principles of Burning Man, is that you leave no trace. Meaning you do not throw up a garbage on the ground, meaning you don't let a feather, you don't wear boas because feathers might get off, and that anything that is out of place, that is not part of the desert, you do not bring there. And you're responsible for it. To the point of even people go after the event with like sifters to get little like sequins and stuff out of the sand. And our camp has a magnetic rake that we go through our area with. And it's important. It's important philosophically because the whole concept of leave no trace, it ties in with things like sustainability and understanding your footprint and understanding the impact that you as an individual have on your culture and on the world. And starting to think in terms of leaving no trace is huge. And a lot of people at this festival didn't get it yet. There was a lot of trash. And I think part of that is because the Do Lab makes a big impact at Coachella. And so I think there's probably a lot of people who are getting into this scene. They're into the music part of it. They're into the concerts. And you pay a pretty significant chunk of money. And your mindset says, I paid, I now receive. It's not a gifting mentality. It doesn't quite... you feel justified in actions that are not very responsible, such as leaving trash out or throwing things into a porta potty that are going to clog it. And so there was a significant amount of trash, and it was a little grating. And there were times that I almost got angry. And I had to remember back that I had a first festival too. My friend Lester actually rubbed, as I was kind of like, oh my goodness, this feels a little different than I remember. And he said, what a great opportunity for people that know better to role model. It's like, there you go. There's the right attitude. Because I can remember my first year Burning Man. I showed up on a Thursday. The only year that I've ever not gone for the whole week was my first year. I showed up on Thursday to a camp that was already set up. And I brought a batch of brownies for everybody. I thought that was my contribution. And for the most part, I took from the festival, from my campmates, and from the whole event. I took far more than I gave. But one of the things that I received was the understanding that you're just hitting the tip of the iceberg. Get more into this. And by getting more into it, I became much more understanding of what Leave No Trace means and why it can be so important. And why, when you can adhere to certain principles of spirit and of values while having an incredible time, it makes it so much better. Conscious partying. In some ways, to me, that's kind of the point of it all. That's the purpose. What's the meaning of existence? To me, it comes back to dancing, singing, laughing, sex. Get everything taken care of. And then joyfully get excited about just the opportunity to receive the gifts of awareness. I think that the consciousness of the universe, when it sees people dancing, goes, it worked! Like the sum equation of the entire universe, when it says equals dancing, God goes, oh my gosh, it came out, the equation works! And whatever other things happen along the way, the fact that you have to carry the one and there's some tragedy here, that does not devalue or invalidate the equation. But to make the equation even more glorious and amazing is do the dancing, do the singing, do the hugging, the loving, all of that, while maintaining sustainable practices, while leaving no trace, while lifting, 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 never destroying. And if you can do that, if you can leave no trace, if you can avoid the traps of consumerism, if you can gift, if you can love, while you're dancing and laughing and making love, I think you change the world that way. Because the vibration that gives off, so, for those of you that were first-timers at LIB, hopefully over the course of the few days you start to interact with people that were a little bit more aware of these principles and ideas. Maybe by the end of the weekend you were picking up trash, not just your own, but other people, so that as a community we can have a more harmonious impact on our environment and the world. If you were a first time heading to Burning Man, hopefully there's enough people around you that are going to educate you and help you understand. And as you grow in your connection to the community, the world, your local friends and family and everything, you can start to get more and more in alignment. We go through the world and the pressures and values of the world knock us, and then we recorrect. We recorrect. Jacob Glass was saying that an airplane on its way from California to Hawaii is off track like 90% of the time. It's always in the process of recorrecting. And that's what we need to do as we go through the world. You know, we start going and we see somebody throw a cigarette and we see this and this, and our values start to get skewed and people start complaining in the office and this, and we start to like, and without knowing it, we're off track. And if we don't consciously practice back into alignment, listening to things that remind us, being around people that remind us, back into alignment, back into alignment, back into alignment, back into alignment. And then experiences like going to Burning Man. For me, experiences like this and Hug Nation, these are these profound adjustments. Oh, okay, ooh, that felt good. All right. Oh, yeah, now I can feel the love. Okay, right. Whew, I don't know where I was, but now I'm back in alignment. So, leaving no trace is just one knuckle crack. It's all about a constant awareness of where your heart is out of alignment with spirit, it's out of alignment with your thoughts, and just constantly being aware, coming back, because the joy of that place is worth working for. Thank you for being a part of this joy. Thank you for being a part of this moment. Now pick up your trash.